Hello, this is Love Knows Best here, and I'm here to bring another video. I'm a little bit upset. For I would like to start this preset this video. Well, first, let's start with this video. Is about the Rashard Aubrey case. I think Rashard Brooks case and the police officer. Okay, we know what happened. Now we have known, they have made known what they're trying to do to this police officer in this justified shooting. But I want to preset this in biblical truth. I want to preset this in a verse. Romans 13, chapter 1. You're going to do the whole chapter. Or at least chapter 1, verse 1 through 6. Or 1 through 5. The rest of it. Let everyone be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except that which God has established. The authority that exists has been established by God. Consequently, however, whoever rebels against the authority is rebelling against what God has instituted, and those who do so will bring judgment on themselves. For rulers have no terror for those who do right, but for those who do wrong. Do you want to be free from fear of the one in authority? Then do what is right, and you will be commended. For the one in authority is God's servant for your good. But if you do wrong, be afraid, for your rulers do not bear the sword for no reason. They are God's servants, agents of wrath to bring punishment on the wrongdoer. Therefore, it is necessary to submit to the authorities not only because of possible punishment, but also as a matter of conscience. Now, the reason I bring this up today is very obvious. What is happening to this officer today is pretty much injustice. It's not justice. You are asking for justice for somebody who did something wrong. That is unjust. That is unjust. That's the definition of unjust. He did the right thing. That day. I'm so sick and tired of these backseat police officers. When I mean backseat police officers, I mean the people who think they're policemen, though they know policing, but they never been a police officer a day in their life. That goes for the mayor. That goes for people, the citizens. No way the citizens have a say in how policing should work, ever, because they're not police officers. Now, if some police officer did something wrong on the other hand, and that'll be one thing, but this case is not a case of racism just because the person's black. They think this is more about black people wanting special privileges. They would be handled with kid gloves because they're black. Isn't that what the Klan, what makes them any different than the Ku Klux Klan? And any other hate group who wants to be treated differently because of the color of their skin. But this man fought the police, resisted arrest, fought the police. I'm going to make it clear. He fought the police. I'm going to say it third time so you can get a clarity. And in response to this, he loses his life like normal people with brain cells would predict what happened at the end of this nonsense. So the dumb mayor decides to come out and say, well, we know what he did wasn't necessarily wrong by law, but it wasn't the right thing. So we're going to charge him like he broke the law, even though he didn't break the law. Does that make sense to you? It does not. This is nothing but a political stunt to save her own butt because she doesn't want to take responsibility. But anyway, but the problem with this is she's not saving her butt. She's only making it worse. She's hammering a nail in her own coffin. She's being unjust just to please an unjust crowd. Let me say that again. She's being unjust to please an unjust crowd. And let me clarify, she's being unjust to please an unjust crowd. These crowds don't care about the truth of the matter. They are unjust people, but crying out unjustly against people who did very little wrong. And I said very little because I can't say they didn't know wrong. There have been cases in the past where wrong was committed. But if a person is judged by the measurement of their past, they will always be judged. And technically speaking, they would never be right. All the time they'd be wrong. Even themselves. And they don't even realize that they themselves are in the same boat. What is wrong to charge this man, indict this man for charges? Felony murder, really? You only charge people with felony murder when they committed an actual crime and like somebody's death was resulting in someone's death. They committed an actual felony that resulted in a death. The cop didn't commit a felony that resulted in somebody's death. He didn't commit, let's say that again. He didn't commit a felony that resulted in someone's death. He was defending himself. What we call self-defense. At best, you'll get him for murder, but it'll be accidental murder, which then will be classified as self-defense, which will get him off. He's not going to go to jail. I have faith that he ain't going to go to jail unless some corrupt thing happens that causes him to go to jail. Other than that, he is going to be fine. Have faith in God, because he needs to have faith in God and believe that God's going to come through on his behalf. With his acquittal, bring wrath? Yes, because they're unjust. They're going to bring anger because they're unjust. They don't care about true justice, because if they did, they would account for personal responsibility, because that's what justice requires. It's personal responsibility. When you crying out for justice, you have to take into account personal responsibility. Did you do all you can do to prevent the circumstances for which happened? Remember that these people, as verse 4 said, for the one in authority is God's servant for your good. For your good. These cops are in there for your good. But if you do wrong, be afraid, for rulers do not bear the sword for no reason. They are God's servants, agents of wrath to bring punishment on the wrongdoer. That's why God commanded that we submit to authority. And that any kind of, other than that, is rebellion. You're not only rebelling against the police officer, but you're rebelling against God. You're rebelling against the establishment God has built. Everything that you see today in government is establishment made by God. And if you rebel against that, you rebel against God himself, for he established it. You're going to be here crying about defund the police. That's nothing but evil rebellion. I don't care what grievances you have. There are ways of correcting such grievances without rebelling against what God has established. God sees what's wrong with his establishment. He knows that it's broken. He knows it's not going to be perfect. You're not going to build a perfect. Even if you were to tear down this establishment and build a new one, it will still be broken like the first one. Even worse. These people are wishing for a fairy tale dream. They think if they tear down the police department and build a new one in their own image, that it's not it's gonna be perfect. It's gonna be perfect because it's unjust as they are unjust. That is why it's perfect for them. Because that's why it be fluid for them because it's unjust like them. And technically speaking, when a system is already unjust like them, that caters to them, that caters to their whim, all evil can easily break loose. They want a system that will let them do all kinds of evil they have in their hearts. Oh, not all these people are bad people. They might got stuck in a delusion. They might get some of the people that are involved in this group are thinking they're just supporting black lives, and that's it. But they don't realize they're blind to what's really going on here, because they're not really about black lives. They're about wickedness. They're about destroying, dismantling what God has put in place, so they can be able to do what their evil hearts desires for them to do. If they get rid of the police, they can do all kinds of evil. Just look at what's going on around you, and you will see the evil that they are trying to let happen. If they don't stop it, then they are for it. Technically speaking, they talk about we ain't start the riots, but you ain't do nothing to stop the riots. So therefore, it falls at your feet because they are claiming to be part of you. It falls at your feet because they claim to be part of you. Now, you ain't do nothing. You stayed silent. You ain't do nothing to stop all these riots. You ain't starting to do nothing to prevent or diminish these disasters. All this stuff does not help your cause. It actually hurts your cause. Media over there trying to sugarcoat what's really going on. Like saying, oh, they're just protesters. They're not protesters. Those are rioters. Get it straight. They're trying to conflate and confuse and muddy the waters of terms to smear people. Back number is even to the point of the President of the United States. No leader in any reasonable country would let anybody take over a city that he's over. It wouldn't happen in Russia because those people be going into concentration camps. It wouldn't happen in Iran. It wouldn't happen in Iraq. It wouldn't happen in Europe. It wouldn't happen in any other country where any weirdos, any crazy people would try to take over a small or even an ounce of a city in rebellion to the government and think they're gonna be okay. Only in America. Only in America, people think that you're okay to take over a city block. Calling what's right wrong and wrong right. We were once oppressed people. We ain't oppressed, but we don't know how to handle the freedom we got, so now we have manufactured our own oppression. Complaining about slavery that hasn't been an establishment since over 100 years ago. Jim Crow hasn't been a thing for over 100, almost close to that. We're still complaining about it as though it happened yesterday. We can't name any laws that are systemically racist, other than it affects us because we are like committing the crimes. If it's like we break the law, and because it affects us when we break the law, it's racist. It leads me to this point. But just because you don't see it on the news don't mean it don't happen. Just because you don't see a white person getting shot by the police don't mean it doesn't happen. It means that the news media is purposely ignoring it for narrative reasons, for money reasons, for rating reasons, for investing reasons. It doesn't benefit them to purposely counterintuitively act to be counter constructive to what they're trying to put in your head. It's far easy to make you believe that only black people are getting shot by police than it is to show you reality. Why is it that they don't show Hispanic people getting shot by police? Because they know the Hispanic people ain't gonna act crazy. Why do you think they don't show Asian people getting shot by police? Because they know they're not gonna go act crazy. They only pick black people because they know that they're gonna act the way they expect them to act. You think they didn't expect you to riot in the streets? They did. They knew exactly what you were going to do. They know exactly what you're going to do every time that happens. They know exactly what you're going to do because you're predictable. They know the moment they put on TV that a black man gets shot by the police, they're going to go riot in the streets. They also know they're going to peaceful protest. They know you're going to protest, but they also know that that protest is going to escalate to ratings for their TV shows. You don't believe me? Look at every other time this has happened. Every time they do it all the time. It's like clockwork, and then there's a response that they're getting attacked. You know why? Because it's the consequences of your own actions. You know those people, unjust people, even though unjust people are not stupid, are not unaware of what the news media is doing. They know that the media is using them for their own ratings. That's why they get attacked. They turn on them because they know what they're doing. And the media too dumb or me too blind to see that they see through their nonsense. But instead of changing their ways, they keep doing the same thing. Every life, according to the Bible, matters. Every one. But there's a big but in that. But there is a personal responsibility that needs to be put in place. Yeah. God puts responsibility on you. If you do something that causes your own life, that's your fault. That is not anybody else's fault. Man, your life didn't matter. The matter is you did something that caused your life to be cut short. As simple as that. I don't maintain something, but every life, every time this happens, it's something the person did that could have prevented them from being shot. The question, do I agree with that? It's a complicated answer to that question. It's not very simple. Is it grounded in biblical truth? There's two different types of truth. There's biblical truth that should govern everything in life, because that's the ultimate truth. That should come before any truth you say out of your mouth. That it should be governed by the word of God before it uttered out of your mouth. And then there is black and just truth that's known to everyone. Obvious truth. If racism is a major problem and it was so obvious, then people wouldn't argue its seriousness. People wouldn't be arguing their seriousness if they thought that it was obvious. It obviously is not that obvious. It isn't because they don't see, it's because they don't pretend to know what's in the hearts of other men when they are walking around in life. Maybe they don't feel as oppressed as you do. Maybe they realize how to be free, how to live with personal responsibility. Who knows? But the fact of the matter is that the number one cause of death of black people today is not because they're oppressed. It's not because police officers are shooting them left and right. And it's because heart disease. Their poor health, them not eating right, and they're blaming that on white people. When you have personal responsibility on what you put in your mouth, you have a choice of what you eat. Just because you can't afford, what do you mean you can't afford to eat healthy? You can't afford just to go on a banana diet and eat just bananas. You can't go afford to go to it just to buy apples and go on to Apple now and buy a combination of that on a daily basis. And they're cheap. They're not that staggering expensive. You ain't gotta go buy some gluten-free food that's $10 a box. You don't have to go do that to get healthy. You running free and going to the gym costs like $1. You ain't got no excuse. Excuses you give yourself. But I got no traffic. When we rebel against the government, whether it's the president, whether it's the legislation, whether it's the judicial, you are rebelling against God. Because he established all of it. And he knows that it's broken. And he knows that it's not perfect. And he knows that things are going to go wrong. But that is no reason for you to rebel against it. You are supposed, by God's command, to submit to the governing authorities over you. Now, I'm talking to the Christians here because I know the world's not going to do any of this stuff. Because we are not supposed to expect the world to obey by Christian philosophy. But, I mean, we are to deliver this message of God's love. The thing they need to know is that God loves them and died for them on the cross. And then when they actually accept that, then you can move on to the rest of the stuff. But until then, you gotta get them to drink the cup first. You can expect them to accept everything the cup has to offer without first giving them the cup. Them wanting to drink the cup. If they're not ready to drink the cup, then just move on. I've heard this forcing things down people's throats. It's like she is that kind of person. It's where she doesn't want to drink from the cup. They rejected the cup. And they're trying to accuse you of forcing them to drink the cup they don't want to drink, even though they could just walk away at any given time. I'm gonna say this short thing. I'm going a little bit off topic for them. I'm evangelical, so I'm going around talking to people about Christ. Yeah, I'm not gonna say it. Do your thing, because really, if you preach the gospel the way you're supposed to, it's gonna be fine. Just don't. If they don't want to drink the cup, just move on to the next person. The thing is, I think I know what's going on here. It's about to stop the pause for a minute. The reason is not because you were forcing them to drink the cup. It's that when you moved on, she kept antagonizing you, kind of get you to run off your post because she didn't like what you were saying. She didn't like the idea of you spreading the gospel to other people. So she tried to bully you away from the stand. But that's not very deal. Let's take police officers. Now, I am a pro police. I'm going to tell you this. I've had my many run-ins for police officers. None of them are not necessarily negative. I call them neutral. I know how to handle myself when police are around. I don't escalate the situation with my angry attitude and why you stopped me and this, that, and the other. I stay polite, I keep my calm, and we have a conversation. I give my ID or driver's license. I didn't have it. Let me go back there. But most of the time I didn't have a car, so I give my ID. I've been searched at least 3 times in my life. I think those were justified searches in the circumstances for which it happened. yes and no. It's hard to say. It's let me explain. How do I explain this? The cops don't just show up when they decide to search people or random. Somebody had to call them, whether it was a neighbor or whether it's a. I had this conversation at work with this dummy. With this dude. Not gonna say his name. He had my color. He was black like me and whatever. And I was telling him that I was stopped and searched. I was staying in the neighborhood because my friend had went to his girlfriend's house and he asked me to stand outside, which is weird. While he go inside. Now, I was standing there, I was getting uncomfortable. First of all, I don't like standing outside people's houses for reasons I'm about to tell you. But reasons because they cause suspicion. And when things cause suspicion, people call the cops. Okay? It's called cause and effect. Okay? If you stand outside somebody's house that you do not live in, and somebody sees you and think it's suspicious, they're going to call the cops. And then they call the cops, they're going to come and approach you and ask for your ID and ask you why you're standing there. Now, it may be your right to stand there, but for all they know, you trying to break in, you're just a watchman waiting to see if somebody comes so you can warn your friend who's probably robbing the house around the corner. For all they know, they don't know what you up to. You may be just standing there and you may be a lookout. They don't know the details. All they know they were called there to work for a suspicious person, so I understand why they were. But they didn't approach me at the place. I got nervous and I said, I ain't gonna stand around because this is weird. I'm going back home. So on my way back home, or was it back home? I can't remember. The details are kind of fuzzy. I believe that I was on my way back. I started going and I started coming back. And then I said, nah, I'm not comfortable just waiting for this man outside. He should let me come at least to the backyard out of the view. That way nobody would have called. Maybe people would still called. But anyway, I digress. We're going to continue the story. Well, whether I was going back to my friend's house where I was visiting, or coming back to check to see if he came out again. Oh wait, whichever one of those things, I got stopped by police. Police pulled up. One of the policemen pulled up, and he asked me, "Sir, what you doing?" I don't remember the details of what the conversation, but nevertheless, we had a little conversation. He searched me right quick and then went about his business. I didn't run, didn't resist arrest, or I was under arrest. I didn't resist a search because I ain't got nothing to hide. Why do I need to fear? Because I'm not, like the Bible said, what do I have to fear? We were told no fear for those who do right. I did everything right. I had no terror. I ain't no fear. Didn't need to fear. I ain't do nothing wrong. Trust me, I ain't got nothing on me. Didn't find nothing, but I'm about to obey and left. It doesn't matter whether the search was okay or not. It doesn't matter whether it was just or not. I just let nobody, and it went smoothly, and he went about his business. When the officer was black, so that destroyed the argument about racism right there in his face. Since black people, they say black people can't be racist. I don't believe that nonsense, but I had another incident not too long ago. That's no more recent. I was delivering. I go into an army base restaurant, which you think, oh yeah, that's normal. But this area usually didn't have people guarding the entrance. But this time, there were two state police. They weren't military. They weren't military police. They weren't a base policemen. They were just regular city police. Only thing they were Fairfax. But they were happened to sneak in there, right? And he asked for my ID or license, most likely my license because I'm driving the car. The two white dudes. Unfortunately, at the time I lost my license, I just recently got one, so good an update. I recently got my a new license replacement. Like I didn't have one at all. I just had lost the license and not like so no suspension, no nothing. I just misplaced it and can't find it no more. So I ordered a new replacement driver's license. No, I just got it like 2 days ago. But I digress. I didn't have a license to give because I don't have it, and all I had was my driver's permit that was void out because I got my license and an expired ID. Right in front of him. He said, you know, I do got my license. I do got my license. Calmly, I didn't give no reason for him not to believe me, but he said, you know how people won't believe me, lied to me because I have this on. I said, yeah, I can imagine. Not really. Um, no, I can't imagine, but I probably guess that people do probably lie to you because you have the cop. But you can actually go ahead and look it up on your computer if you don't believe me. That guy said, he's fine. He's just a grub up and they're fine. And the guy was I was sort of consistent, but I think he was somebody but test back. The other thing I just need to see how you respond. But nah, it's probably not that. But it's kind of odd because I'm gonna tell you what happened afterwards. So he tells me the beat pattern when I leave. I go and drop the food off. I'm only like 5 minutes. Come back and they're gone. They're done, gone, disappear like they ghosts. Now I ain't been gone that long. Either I don't know what happened to them. You know if they went someplace, were called someplace else, but they disappeared. Gone like the wind. Like the movie Gone with the Wind. They gone with the wind. They were gone. So I didn't have to do all that. God is good. Now, even if I didn't, I wouldn't be in trouble. If I do the right thing, I would have done exactly what he told me to do. Why? Because it's the right thing to do. If I would have not done what he said, he probably would have flagged me down and it'd been worse. But I didn't have to do none of that because he was gone. So he left. So technically speaking, that worked out for me. I never really been in any trouble with the law. I've called the police on somebody who robbed me. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to act. I knew what he looked like. I can remember he had dreads in the back of his head, but I have to see people multiple times in order to actually remember what they look like. I'm usually good with, but it was crazy. But anyway, I need to stop with this defund the police nonsense. It's nonsense. It's rebellious. It is against biblical principles. And I'm talking to those Christians out there who are fawning over the BLM. Okay. Also need to stop this white privilege nonsense. It also goes against the biblical teachings. If you don't believe me, believe that there are people in the Christian faith who say the same thing I've been saying for years. I've been saying this crap for years. I predicted this outcome when I was in high school. I'm telling you, I predicted this particular scenario when I was in high school. Only from a movie, from a civil rights movie. I predicted that this was the seeds or fruits that were going to come. I said in high school in the 12th grade, 11th or 10th or 11th grade, I said there's going to be a time coming when it's going to be flipped. The white race is going to turn into black people. And it's going to be a bunch of black races being racist to white people. And look at what we got here. We got a little taste of it. except for they trying to justify their own racism by claiming to be victims. And technically speaking, ain't none of them never been a slave. Ain't none of them been into Jim Crow laws. Been in segregation. Don't know what segregation looks like, but yet trying to segregate themselves. I predicted this. Mainly white people trying to pretend to be superior, self-righteous, and parade their moral superiority on display for all to see, which is hypocrisy. And speaking, they're doing the least. And these tech companies doing the exact same thing, virtue signaling to appease the minority of people. They're in the minority of the minorities because they're growing in popularity, yes. They are somehow grabbing our crowd because this message is brainwashing. You hear it all the freaking time. You hear it all the time. They have surrounded their cause around a thing that anybody would get around if they had brain cells to do so, with an ominous hidden message behind it that nobody sees right away. Because people get on this bandwagon only on the premise that Black Lives Matter, but they don't think about what's in the pie. They only think about the surface level. They present you with a surface level thing, but you don't care about what's on the inside, which is rotten to the core. It's a front to the Bible. I might have to change this title to add white privilege and them, but white privilege is technically saying to God, I know you died on the cross and for all of our sins, but you forgot one. You forgot a sin, God. And it's not my sin. Oh, it's not mine. Oh, it's not mine. It's other people. You forgot white people's sins. Okay? You forgot their sin. You forgot you didn't die for everybody. So you died for everybody else for white people. White people didn't get saved by the blood. Nope. You saved most of their sins except for racism and white privilege. You missed those two. That's what you're saying. You're undermining the message of the Bible. You're undermining God's sacrifice. You're undermining it by saying such things. You're saying the white people there are forever a racist, even though we haven't been taught that racism is a learned trait, not an inherent trait. You can't inherit racism. You cannot be born into racism. One is not born a racist. Otherwise, everyone is born a racist. Racism is not a race. White race only. It can be attributed to every race. So if one is racist, then all of them are born racist. You cannot have one without the other. This can be attributed to spoiled kid syndrome. You had kids that see what somebody else got and they want it, and because they either have something similar that's not to their liking, and the other guy got something they think is better than theirs, they want what they got, so they demand that they give them their item as well. It's robbing Peter to pay Paul and all of his children. You want to take what Peter earned away from him because you think he unjustly got it. Who do you make you? Let me tell you something right there. Who do you think you are to determine what I got, rightfully or unrightfully? It's childish thinking. Is not birthed from maturity. It's born from immaturity and insecurity. I said I've given everyone the ability to gain wealth. There ain't nobody got no. Everybody can gain anything they want to if they apply themselves to it. God has said it, so it is true that anybody can gain wealth. Not just white people, not just black people, not just Mexican people, not just Asian people, but all people can gain wealth if they do take some responsibility on their life and do make some right decisions. And I'm not saying that everything is because they didn't make right choices or so, but some choices have more worse effect than others. Maybe your mama made some bad mistakes that affect your life, but it ain't nobody else but yours. And ultimately, you determine your own fate, not nobody else. I'm so tired of Christians who claim to be Christians saying this white privilege nonsense. You, let me tell you something. You are not. You are Christian first, black second. Christian first, white second. Christian first, white second. Christian first, Mexican second. Christian first, Asian second. You are Christian first, and if it's your ethnic group second. Your loyalty should be to God first, and everything else is nothing. Okay, you might as well say I'm going to say your ethnic group should be pretty much dead to you. Only God should matter. Your ethnic group's words should not mean more to you than God. What? God should always come first. God first. Your color second. Your color should not rule over you more than God rules over you. Actually, the only person who should rule over you is God. This tribalism needs to stop. You belong to no one but God. If you're a Christian, you belong to no one but God. You have no loyalties but to God. Not to your race. Not anybody else but God. Not okay to love your race. And okay to Paul loved being his Jewish brother. Don't get me wrong, he loved his Jew. He was passionate, but he knew that his loyalties was to God first. And that's how you must treat. I know some people out there are going to lose a lot of friends if they make this choice. You won't lose a lot of your same color friends because you put God first and them second. You betraying your brother, you betraying your race and whatnot. Let me tell you something. You should your loyalty. You tell them my loyalty is to God, not to you. In closing, I'm gonna I don't want to jump off the rails here because I think as Christians we're supposed to be pro police, we're supposed to be pro government, we're supposed to be pro authority, pro godly establishments. Since God established the government, we're supposed to be for the government. We're supposed to love your enemies. I got that scripture for you. Hey, people don't forget. It's the love. You're supposed to love. It's to love your neighbor as yourself. Love does no harm to a neighbor. Therefore, love is a fulfillment of the law. God demands that you love above all else. That's why I call myself love knows best. I always talk about love all the time. So I wanted to draw that into people's hearts. That they pose to love one another. Not people that they like, because even Jesus said, I heard it was said to love your neighbor. I said, love your enemies. For he wants you to love your enemies. He said, what good would it do for you to just love those who love you? And even Gentiles do that. But he said, how much you take it a step further and love your enemies. Love those who don't like you. He didn't think, love those who don't like you unless they're a racist. He didn't say but. There's no but in there. I don't see no if, buts. I don't see no exceptions. He didn't say, love your enemies except if they make president of the United States. I don't see that. There is no ifs. There is no buts. There is no exceptions to the rule. If you call yourself to be a Christian, then you need to do that. Otherwise, you are just a big hypocrite, the biggest hypocrite in the world. See so many people in high places, Christians in high places, not going high places because they're in places which they're influencers of Christ. Posting things on social media that are contrary to God's heart. Memes that are contrary to mean-spirited memes that are now they may not be. Let me tell you something. There is things that these things carry meaning. Like white privilege. White privilege means that you are saying you agree with that meme when you post it on social media. It does not matter if it's not your true intention. The moment you put it up there, it is your intentions. That is what you're teaching. When you talk about stupidity, you may intend it. You should not be calling nobody stupid. I know I want to speak calling ghetto black, but I usually correct myself. I don't like to call people stupid, and I don't mean reason for it is because God don't make stupid people. They know what they are doing. And usually they know what they're doing is wrong. So it ain't that they don't know. It ain't that they incapable of knowing. Because that's what stupid is. It means you're incapable of knowing it. You know what you're doing and you choose to do it anyway. You choose to ignore the truth. Not that you're stupid. But what is true? People talk about truth, but when they take it outside the concept of the Bible, it's not truth. Especially if something that you need to have under context of the Bible, because technically speaking, there's not a lot of things. There are some things out there that people put out there on social media claiming it's the truth, outside the context of the Bible, and it's just a human concept. Race is a human concept. This worshiping of race, which is what we have here. We got a taste, a little taste of the religion of race. The religion of racialism. I believe I should say it's a religion. Because when you commit a wrong, all you need to do is commit an atrocity. All you gotta do is commit a sin in their eyes, and you are put on the chopping block. If you do something that seems racist to them, because they don't know what racism is, they've lost the plot. They lost the plot of what racism is. Because they are twisted everybody's meaning. They twisted everybody's words into what they feel it's like. Because they know what racism is because they're black. Let me tell you something. They don't know what racism is. You don't know the intentions of other people's heart. The only no way to know what the racist is to know the person's heart and his background and his heart. And no man knows another man's heart. Heck, they don't even know their own. Because man's heart is deceitful above all things, and who can know it? But if you don't know your own heart, how can you know the hearts of other men? I've said this to somebody already in person. So you don't know that man's heart. You don't know whatever that man's race. I do know that. I get that response. But not when I say to somebody in person. I do say these things to people. And so you don't know that man's heart. You don't know what that man was racist or not. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And they will say, oh, yes, I do. I know he's racist because I know what racism is. They would tell you that they know how he would respond in a different situation because they a situation they made up in their own heads. Like, if he was white, it wouldn't happen. How would you know? Did it happen yet? And even if it didn't happen, you wouldn't hear about it. Even if you were wrong and he did do it, you wouldn't hear about it. I guarantee you wouldn't hear the sound of day of it. If you're wrong, you ain't gonna hear that you're wrong. And the situation they do put on TV is getting only there to confirm what you already suspected. Like that time they put on the news where that white dude was holding up a building, armed guard on the building, and the police were able to apprehend him without killing him. Because see, they were able to do him without. You got one case. I can almost suspect how that they would have got out of there. He gave up. Okay, that's how he got out of there alive. He gave up. He wasn't about to die that day. He didn't really want to die. Because if he really wanted to die, he would have went out in the blaze. He didn't want to die. He wasn't serious about dying. He just wanted to hold. They were able to talk him down. Now, the scenario is not the same. It's not the same as you see in any of the other cases, because I don't see these black men holding up a building hostage, not getting shot. If the scenario matched the same thing, they probably wouldn't have shot. It wouldn't have mattered what race he was. We don't know what we don't know. See, you're using the name like y'all use on white people. There's no way for you to know a what if moment, because it didn't happen. It's a thing you made up in your own head to justify your anger. Something you made up in your own head, a scenario that you made up in your own head and assumed to be a true reality to life based off an assumption that never happened. What we see happening in life today when we talk about policing and these police outcome black men abuse you, if everyone little way, what they're doing is they're using a scenario that never happened. And even if it would happen, they are assuming that the media is going to be honest and depict a scenario for which that happens, and it happened the way that white people would say it happened. What I'm trying to say is, they're suspecting that the media is honest. Okay, the media is never honest. You can't trust your media to tell you the truth because they're trying to paint a narrative. You are praying and hoping that the media will be honest about how policing works enough to tell you the truth. It's not. Guarantee it's not. They're never going to show you a scenario where a white person got shot by the police unjustly. They're never going to show you to you because that would go against their narrative. The Democratic narrative. They keep you in chains. They keep talking about the right wanting to keep you in chains. But it's actually them wanting to keep you in chains. They want to keep you in bondage to your troubles. Because if you found the solution to your troubles, you wouldn't vote them in, which makes absolutely no sense. But usually, if you solve a problem that they're having, they would vote you in, but they have the opposite judgment on that. They say you always need to have a problem, so you come to me to solve it. It's like going to the doctor and you're sick, but he doesn't want you to get better. So instead of giving you medicine that would cure you, he would give you medicine that only solved one of the symptoms. And you keep having to come and visit him every year to treat the same disease you had yesterday. And you've been visiting for 50 years and you still got the same sickness you had that 50 years ago. This is what we're talking about with human nature, the politicians in general. Don't think it doesn't happen on the right. The time comes when there's no place to hide. You see it with the judges. Supreme Court. The Christians think I got a place to hide. Nope. Even the judges are failing you. Then soon the justice system is going to fail you. You're already starting to see the slow decay of the justice system. Slowly creeping over to the wicked side. Becoming more and more unjust, not for the righteous, but for the wicked. You see your leaders, you see your governors, you see your state guards being more unjust, not being siding with the enemy instead of with the righteous. You siding with the unjust than the just. To save brownie points for themselves. You see cops, just cops, who do the right thing. Because we don't know what to do because we're sitting at our house. But that's that problem we're having today. We got too many people who sit at their house 24/7 who don't know a daggone thing about police and how it works or nothing about their job. Telling you how they should do their job and technically speaking in the best route of doing their job, and they don't know a daggone thing about policing. Now, I have a criminal justice degree. I know a little bit about policing, and I know daggone well. We've been taught the same thing for years, and then we better pretend all of a sudden that they don't exist. We've been taught for years that if you grab a gun, you will get shot. You've been taught for years this is the truth. But now we pretend that it doesn't exist. We've been taught for years that if you run from the police, the likelihood of you getting shot has doubled. Yeah, now decided that doesn't exist. That shouldn't exist. We've been taught for years that if you fight a police officer and grab for his weapon, you will automatically be shot on sight. We have changed the rules for that with outrage. Now we have tied the police officer back because his life doesn't matter. Only the criminal who does wrong matters. Only the bad guy life matters. It's like if Batman wanted to save the world, but the citizen said, I know you stopped the bank robber, but you are violating the bank robber's rights for wanting to steal rob the bank, so therefore you should go to jail. Batman, you should go to jail for keeping this bank robber from doing his job, for being a bank robber. You didn't have to beat the bank robber up and you didn't have to snitch on the bank robber. Man, there's other ways to stop the bank robber. And I say, do you have a solution? No. Shut up. It's like if Superman decided he's gonna save the world. There's a meteorite about to hit Smallville. He goes, destroys the meteorite, save millions of lives, but everybody's angry at him because the rocks destroyed their house. Destroyed their yard, but didn't hit their house. Their house fine, but destroyed their house and their property. Even though they could rebuild it, they're still mad. He saved all of your life. You could have been dead, but you want to complain because your house, your property was damaged. It was inevitable. It's a more worse thing was going to happen to you. That is what today is like. The unjust are gaining more power than the just. It is predicted in the Bible. It predicted in the Bible. Bible already prophesied this already. We're seeing a taste of it. This ain't it isn't full force yet. We still have the traders here, but you still in full force. When we rebel against God's establishment, we rebel against God. I'll leave you with this very important scripture in Romans 12. And the reason I'm going to just touch everybody. Bless those who persecute you. Bless and do not curse. Rejoice with those who rejoice. Mourn with those who mourn. Live in harmony with one another. Do not be proud and not be willing to associate with people of low position. No, don't be proud, but be willing to associate with people of low position. Do not be conceited. Do not repay anyone evil for evil. Be careful to do what is right in everyone's eyes. Out to everyone. If it is possible, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone. Do not take revenge, my dear friend, but leave room for God's wrath, for it is written, it is mine to avenge, and I will repay. It is, he says, on the contrary, if your enemy is hungry, feed him. If he's thirsty, give him something to drink. In doing this, you heap burning coals on his head. Lots of scriptures like this. I implore you to follow it as Christians. But anyway, in gathering, we end this with this. Thank you, Lord, for giving us, blessing us, to live on this land. Blessing us for living on this land. It may have not started with fresh and flowers, but that's not what you intended for it to start as. It may have not started for us. Technically, let me correction. We, as in this generation, started with the blessings of God already given to us. Not only not given to us, prepared for us to get. The harvest has already been prepared for us. We have to work to reap those blessings. And we're going to have some trials during the process, but fact of the matter is this. We have the blessed opportunity because we don't have to suffer through slavery. We didn't have to suffer through the Jim Crow laws. We didn't have to suffer through any of the civil rights movements. But we are sitting in the land, their works, their finished works. And now we're sitting here dismantling the works that were prepared for us a while ago. Because we get offended so easily. Because I'm not going to get on TV and talk about what we already should know. We can judge our fellow brothers not by what they did, but what we think they're doing. Not by the contents of their character, not by shown through all the times we have known them, but by what we think was in their hearts. Even though we don't know what's in their hearts, we're not God. We don't know what's in somebody's heart. We don't know nothing. We barely know what's in our own hearts. We don't look in the mirror and take responsibility for our own actions. We blame other people. But I digress. When was answer, they think black people play the victim too much. And God put a smirk on his face because he knew the answer was yes, but he said no. He lied to say no. He knew the answer was yes. You could tell by the face. Everybody's body language is telling them in a minute. Body language told yes, and he said out his mouth no, but his body said yes. And your body will tell on you in a heartbeat, especially when you try to lie. Your body will he's not good at lying. His body said yes, and his mouth said no. His body told on him the contrary. I'm gonna say no. Your body said yes, because you know it to be true. Gotta get it. Oh, love your neighbor. You need to love your neighbor, love your neighbor, love everyone you encounter. You do not. Even if it was true that racism was deeply all around us, like you claim it is, the best solution is love, and it always is. The more evil there is, the more love that should be spewed out of you. But instead we teach people, the more racist there is, the more hate you should have back at them. We ain't going to attack racism. That's not a solution. That is not a solution to racism. You can put something out all day long, that's not a solution. I can tell you murder is wrong, but that doesn't solve the murder. Someone can get killed today and was investigated, right? And I go up there and say, oh, that guy, this is murder. Is that gonna solve the murder? No, it's just tell him what he already knows. He knows that somebody got murdered. You don't need to tell him to point it out. He knows it. He dumb. He can see somebody dead right there. Obviously, he knows it's a homicide. Pointing out a wrong does not solve the wrong. Confronting the wrong does not solve the wrong. You need to come up with some actual solutions that are reasonable and not condescending, not bigoted, not founded in bigotry and racism, and more racism. And the best solution is love. When they're talking about guilt, we ain't talking about educating them in their so-called racism. Here, we are dealing with children, spoiled kids, blame other people for their actions. And I want you to take a look at most of these people who claim that racism is all around. Take a look at their own lives. Take a look at most of these big mouths' lives and tell me if they are living a privileged life or not. If their life is blessed or not. Because I guarantee you, they have a house, they have 2 TVs in their house, they got cable, they have a car, they have a relative job, and they do activism on the side. They make their money pointing out wrongs in society. We don't know they exist. They make their money doing this. It makes them feel better about themselves. So they get snort around about how unracist, what they're doing, how good they are. But I know people are not going to accept the truth. As far as the word, people are going to the bird, people hate you. If they hate him, they'll hate you. If they reject him, they will reject you. Point, like if they reject his word, they will reject you, your word. It is how you separate the wicked from the just. I'm not saying the righteous or the good and the evil, because it's actually learn to know what is good, except for God, and that's knowing it's righteous Christ, but technically speaking, we're all sinners, and we are sinners who have found forgiveness. We put our old lives behind us and will not live in that. But, but, there's this. So we're going to here. I'm not in this right now because I'm going too long. This copier should not be going to jail. This copier should not even be in the courtroom. The only time this man here should be on the street doing his job. This copier, the only time he should be in the courtroom is either being a bailiff or just a witness test with the character witness. He shouldn't be the one on trial here. This mayor, I pray for this mayor. I'm not gonna wish no evil on her. I think she's weak. I don't. This is what I'm not even gonna say that. I'm gonna say people. That's why women should be leaders, but not be unfair to women. This is what happens when you put people in the office just because of their gender. Just because of their race. This is what we're feared of. You just put people in there because they're black, or put people there because they're a woman. They have to have good qualities about them. When you put people in high places just because of their gender and race, you end up with corruption. You end up with unjust people. You end up with people you don't even know what they're for or against. You just put a checklist person in there. You just put somebody in there so you can have a checklist of people. In the end, there ain't gonna be no intersexuality in heaven. None of this stuff matters in the end. Love, love, love. Just love those best. Lord, let us love one another. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.